Welcome to the Jungle Savages. My name is Baloo the Bear, and here on the stream, we cover crypto and technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at Ethereum. I do anticipate a lot of volatility in this month of September. We are approaching the Ethereum merge, and there's already interesting narratives and interesting price action to go along with that. It's a very big deal what's happening with Ethereum. And the market is not necessarily in a bullish posture, but that's not going to stop a lot of drama to potentially happen. So we're going to dive into the charts. We're going to spend a little bit more time on Ethereum today. But I do want to start off with the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. So taking a look at Bitcoin on the daily. Now, actually, no, this is the 3-day chart. So there's a few things that I want to highlight here. We're sitting at a support level. Now, I don't think that we are exiting the bear market anytime soon. We haven't had a significant period of consolidation sideways enough for me to be convinced that we're ready for another markup period. But that doesn't mean that we can't have ebbs and flows within this consolidation. We're sitting right here at the mean, the middle line of this descending channel right now. And it's wanting to kind of poke its head up above this channel. So we could kind of set ourselves up for a little bit of a pop here. You'll also notice that these two lows right here, this low and this low, are flat, whereas on the RSI you can see that you have a low and then a higher low on the RSI. So that's what's referred to as exaggerated divergence. So potential for support here. You know, with a bullish sentiment heading into the Ethereum merge, we could see bullish follow through in other assets. So we'll have to see what happens. But the thing that's really important and noteworthy here is actually this trend line on the RSI. So if you look down here at the RSI, basically since our preliminary supply level, let's actually throw a few labels on here. This is our PSY. For those who are interested, PSY stands for preliminary supply. This is basically the PSY. For those who are following the Wyckoff method, the PSY is where whales dump. This is where the whales dump. They dump here. So after you've gone through the accumulation period, the long drawn out sideways period, you approach the PSY, the preliminary supply, and that's where a lot of the whales will dump their positions. Now, just because the whales dump doesn't mean that we can't carry forwards, okay? So this is what happens when you're in a liquid market that has really, really bullish sentiment. So retail will carry the bull market forwards. Whales will dump the supply onto the market, but the order books are still thin because sentiment is so bullish. People are so convinced we're headed to higher levels that there's still enough people coming in to carry us up to the actual distribution area. And this is where more smart money selling takes place. But the majority of it takes place here at the PSY. And you can see that in the volume signature. It's a very large signature here at the PSY. Anyways, I digress. The PSY was kind of the peak of the RSI. So we have this peak right here. This resulted in, let's actually mark that down as well. We'll go from the peak of the PSY down to the low of the shakeout. It was about a 30% shakeout from the PSY level. We then came up to it again here on our dead cat bounce secondary top, our double top formation. And from that point, we made a really significant shakeout. Do we want to do it from there? We didn't really rally until here. So we had about a 50% retracement from the touch of the RSI back here. And then we came up and we touched the RSI again on this trend line. So now this trend line is defined. So between these 2 points, we created the trend line, and it's now been respecting that trend line. So we touched it again back here. That resulted in further 60% correction, or if we want to be less bearish, you know, we did consolidate. We paused midway, so it dumped 50% and then continued on its merry way down 63%. I'm going to say that this consolidation is just a continuation, no real bounce or relief in this consolidation. And now we've butt up against it again and gotten a little bit of a rejection. But you can see that, you know, this rejection volatility, like there's buyers stepping in. This whole area right here is showing a little bit more volume ever since this kind of this down move here, where we got this buying spike in the volume. The overall volume has been at a higher level. So there's more trading activity in this general consolidation than there has been in the previous area back here. Back here, very low volume overall. We got our capitulation candle. We got a lot of buying on that candle. And then the overall volume has been much higher. So that's noteworthy. And it's indicating that there are participants entering the market that are willing to pick up Bitcoin at this price. That's what the volume's showing us. Now, the price is also showing us you know, that divergence that we spoke about, that exaggerated divergence. So there is kind of the bull case to be made that we can at least rally from this level. Now, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't expect this to be any sort of sustained rally, but what we could do is if we break out from this level, the mean, we could come up and revisit the top. So there's a lot of confluence in this area at the top of the channel. We can see that this also correlates with where we found support on our way down to kind of the 20K level. We paused at 30 on our way to 20. We went from basically 50 to 30, 30 to 20. So there's a confluence zone right here. Right here, there's a lot of confluence in this area. And if we move back to, we can see that the 30K area shows significant support throughout the entire consolidation. If we drag this backwards, you can see that it was the retest area of the preliminary supply where the whales dumped. It was also the retest area and accumulation zone for the accumulation that resulted in our dead cat secondary top rally. And we also paused here on our way down to 20. So a ton of confluence, very, very important level here at 30K. So do be on the lookout for that. The market will switch its sentiment so fast if we even come close to 30K. If we start to dance with 25, 28, 30, the market is going to tell you that the bull market's back on. I'm here to tell you that I have not seen enough consolidation for me to be convinced that the bull market is back on. So do exercise an increased amount of caution out there, because I don't see that being the case. But it doesn't mean that, you know, we can't have a profitable swing here. And with the ETH merge, there is potential for a bullish sentiment to reemerge and demand to increase while supply shrinks, as people are just going to start chilling and holding their position to see how things shake out with the ETH merge. So let's jump into the Ethereum chart. We've been battling with this trend line. Right now it is considered to be a bearish test. Now that doesn't mean that we can't get on top of it, and if we do get on top of it, I would be expecting a little bit of chop and then maybe a move up to around the $2,200 level, maybe even $2,500 level, in the context of bullish sentiment in the merge. Now, for those who have never experienced, if you weren't around in 2017, Bitcoin had a very, very contentious hard fork. It was the block size wars. And that was an incredibly volatile time, okay? So for those sitting around and waiting to see what happens with Ethereum, what I will tell you is it's going to be volatile. It's going to be very volatile. We're going to see Ethereum forks. We're going to see proof of work forks. We're going to see the Ethereum proof of stake network. We're going to see Ethereum Classic rally potentially. There's going to be an intense amount of volatility. On the day of the fork for Bitcoin, when Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash forked, Bitcoin Cash like doubled in a day. And that was where Bitcoin split off. So we could see Ethereum proof of work, the Ethereum that we have today, we could see that double. And there's going to be an incredible amount of arbitrage and bot trading, and it's going to be very volatile. It's going to be very volatile. So I think it's important for people to understand that that's the reality and to not get afraid of the volatility. What ended up happening with the Bitcoin fork, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash is doing a lot shittier than Bitcoin is. So, you know, ultimately, I do think that the community does have a pretty powerful voice on this, and a lot of people support the Ethereum proof of stake merge. So when all the dust settles, it should show that Ethereum proof of stake is going to be the one that ends up stabilizing and continuing to perform. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee. But what I can say is shit's going to be volatile. It's going to be very wild. And for those wondering how I'm trading it, I'm not going to be. I'm really not going to be. I might trade into the event, but I will be looking to kind of hedge out positions and hedge out volatility on the day of the event. If you're going to try and trade the volatility of the event, best of luck to you, because it will only be luck. If you are there's no skill in that, it will be purely luck. But this is what we're looking at. So we first need to get above this trend line. If we can get above that, let's say 1800, 1750, something like that, and begin to consolidate and close a few daily candles on top of this trend line here, then we could begin to set up for that move, that potential move up to 2000. Maybe there's a lot of psychological resistance at 2000, and if we break through that, then we'd be looking at around $2,500 Ethereum with a shit ton of volatility. The merge is scheduled for, I believe, the 15th. If anybody knows in the chat, please let me know. I know it's based off of blocks, so it's not an exact date. But if anybody knows the anticipated date of the merge, please let me know. All right. I think that's it. That's all the time I got. So just to recap the macro here on Bitcoin, we are sitting at support. I want to see us get above this RSI. That's honestly all I want to see. If we can get on top of this RSI, regardless of where the price is, that's a very bullish thing, because we haven't done that in over 2 years. So if we can get on top of this RSI, that's an incredibly bullish thing. Thank you, Sedated Psycho, for the sub. Really appreciate that. So yeah, if we can get on top of that, that's really a step in the right direction. If we rally up to it and get a rejection like we have here, and where it originated, I guess I could say that's resistance here, then we'll have more of the same. But I do think that there is a possibility of, and there's a lot of confluence in this area around 28 to 30. So that's what I'm looking out for on Bitcoin. And honestly, the ability for that to happen is entirely dependent on whether we get a turnaround here in the NASDAQ and a turnaround here in the S&P. So if we can see that, if we can get a turnaround in the S&P and a turnaround in the NASDAQ, that's going to show a sentiment shift. If we can break the ice on the DXY, that's going to show a sentiment shift. And if that happens, then we could absolutely see Ethereum up at 2,500. We could absolutely see Bitcoin up at 30. So that's it. That's all the time I got for today. So if you guys enjoyed this content, well, I don't have to say leave it a like, because we are Twitch exclusive now. I will be posting this on YouTube. So if you do want to go check out the YouTube, scan the QR code and follow me on YouTube as well for the shortened and condensed highlights. But yeah, share this stream with those that you think would get value out of it. I do try to I try my best to give an unbiased opinion of the markets. If you value honesty, then keep on following, keep on subscribing. And if you think that other people would find value in this as well, share it with them. So yeah, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.